There's been a lot of hype around how good the Las Vegas Raiders defense could potentially be this season. So I want to give you guys my thoughts on how good I believe this defense is actually going to be this year. Now, the Raiders have a really good defensive line. Okay, you already had Max Crosby, but then you signed Christian Wilkins in free agency, who not only is starting to become one of the better interior defensive linemen when it comes to getting pressure on the quarterback, but he's always been one of the best run defenders at his position in the league. Now you pair him up with Max Crosby. I mean, this is going to be a really nasty pass rush and defensive line overall that the Raiders are going to have this year. Plus, they do got a good amount of depth at that position as well. At linebacker, they're decent. They're not bad, but they're not great neither. Robert Spillane is coming off the best season of his career. You got Divine Diablo, who is definitely making strides and improvement. But going into year 4, you want to see him be able to put it all together. He's a really good tackler, really good against the run, but he needs to improve in pass coverage. And that's definitely something that you expect him to be a lot better at, since he is a converted safety who went from safety to linebacker. But if Divine Diablo struggles, I love Tommy Eichenberg. I mean, this was one of the biggest steals of this past year's draft. I had a second-round grade on Tommy Eichenberg. I love this dude's game. He's not a great linebacker when it comes to pass coverage, but he's a true throwback when it comes to what the linebacker position used to be. He reminds me a lot of Paul Posluszny. Some of you guys may know who Paul Posluszny is. He played for the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Buffalo Bills. This dude was a freaking tackling machine. During my childhood, every time I turned on the Jazz game, Paul Posluszny was either making the tackle on the play, or he was somewhere close to the proximity of making the play. That being Tommy Eichenberg, he's a tackling machine. He has a very high IQ, great instincts. He just has a knack for the position. And if Divine Diablo or Robert Spillane either get injured or they got to get benched due to poor performance, I really believe that Eichenberg could be a really good player for this organization. Now in the secondary, they got 2 dogs at cornerback. You got Jack Jones, who's one of my favorite players in the league. I've been high on him ever since he was coming out of Arizona State. And a lot of Patriots fans were really disappointed when he had the whole gun incident at the airport. He had some off-the-field issues which caused Bill Belichick to release him. He gets picked up by Antonio Pierce, somebody who he used to play under a few years ago. And he ends up having 2 pick sixes in 2023. And this dude was a revelation for the Raiders at cornerback. Not only is he a really good player, but he has a lot of swag, and he has the kind of personality that gives you, he's definitely a Las Vegas Raider. You guys know what people feel about the Las Vegas Raiders. You know, you like players that are a little bit edgy, have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, kind of aren't the greatest people off the field, but that's kind of what the Raiders way is. And Jack Jones is a perfect embodiment of what it means to be a Las Vegas Raider. Now, you also have slot corner Nate Hobbs, who's one of my favorite DBs in the league. He's physical. He's a fantastic tackler. And he had a bounce-back season in 2023 because the previous year, he had a down year due to injuries and just down play. So if you can figure out who's going to be your second boundary corner lining up on the opposite side of Jack Jones, you already got 2 really good players in the back end at safety with Marcus Epps and Trayvon Moorick. Let's say rookie cornerback Camryon Richardson ends up breaking out. And he definitely has the capability to do so. This dude is a really elite athlete. I mean, he can jump out the building. He has fluid hips. He's physical. He has no problem getting his hands dirty and coming down and making a tackle in the run game. This definitely is a really good defense. Is it going to be a top 5 defense? I doubt that. But this most definitely is going to be a top 10 unit. And Raiders fans feel really good about their chances to overachieve this year because of how good this defense is going to be. And if this is going to be a team that ends up proving us wrong and they end up winning 8, maybe 10 games and they make it to the playoffs, it's because they're going to have an elite defense that's going to be able to get after the quarterback. Not only can they slow down your passing attack, but they also can be a hassle to run the football against with the addition of Christian Wilkins. And we saw just how good this defense was last year when Antonio Pierce took over as the interim head coach. Remember, they had that Christmas miracle when they beat Kansas City, not completing a single pass after the first quarter. That's because of how good their defense was. Their defense scored all their points for them pretty much in that game. If you can have a better defense that was already good last year and it improves a couple of notches, and let's say you can get serviceable QB play, rather that be Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew, and you can run the football the way that you will like to, this definitely is a team that can prove me and a lot of us wrong with how great this defense is going to be. When I think of the Las Vegas Raiders this year, I think of the great value brand Pittsburgh Steelers. And I'm not trying to say that in a negative way, but think about how Mike Tomlin has had success in Pittsburgh the last couple of years. Terrible quarterback play, but good running the football and having a defense that was pretty much the offense. And the hidden thing to the Raiders' success this year is going to be special teams, because if you are relying on your defense and having a dominant rushing attack to win you games, you got to be good in the special team side of things also, because like my high school coach used to emphasize to us when I was playing high school ball is that special teams has a lot of hitting points and hitting yardage that can be obtained if you're able to dominate that side of the football. You know, if you can win the field position battle, let's say your offense struggles, but you're able to flip the field and put the opposing team's offense in bad field position, that can help out your defense. That can help you win games. Winning the field position battle is important for a team that plans on winning the kind of way that the Raiders want to this year, not having great quarterback play. And special teams plays a large part in winning the field position battle, which also helps out your defense because they're not in unfavorable field position. So I do have a lot of confidence in the Raiders defense this year. Patrick Graham is one of the better defensive coordinators in the league. He did a really good job when he was the DC for the New York Giants. He was the only thing good about them during those days. So it's no surprise that Las Vegas has a defense that's getting a lot of attention. A lot of fans are hyped up about how good this unit is going to be, and for a very good reason, man. This is definitely going to be a top 10 defense with the capability of being a top 3 defense. And if they perform at a top 3 level, they definitely could get carried by this unit to the playoffs. But we will see just how good the Raiders perform overall as a team this year. But there's no question that this defense is legit and they are really good.